Viewers, we begin with a very, very important news break at the top of 8 here on India Upfront. Why is this important? Because this is a completely new testing protocol advisory that has been issued by the ICMR, the Indian Council of Medical Research, viewers, with regards to, as I told you, RT-PCR and RAT, rapid antigen test protocols. Now, it is very, very important, viewers, that you follow what I'm going to be telling you in the next few moments, given the fact that this story is just broken. There has been a major change in the testing standard operation procedure. ICMR issues this fresh advisory on testing. And viewers, what we now know is that the RT-PCR test, the RT-PCR test rather, must not be repeated. RT-PCR test, the advisory goes, must not be repeated in any individual who has tested positive once, either by rapid antigen test or through RT-PCR. So viewers, this is because there has been an unprecedented upsurge in COVID-19 cases, and death is currently being witnessed across India according to the ICMR, the Indian Council for Medical Research. The overall nationwide test positivity rate is above 20%, a very high mark. WHO recommends that to be around 5%. So you can imagine, viewers, we are about 4 or 5 times more than what is the permissible WHO level that has been set. But there are recommended measures now to optimize this RT-PCR testing. Given the heavy caseload, we've been telling you, it's almost become impossible to get an immediate test. You have to sometimes wait 3 days to even get an appointment. And then the waiting list for the result also extends by about 2 to 3 days. So 6 days can easily pass between you getting tested and getting a result, viewers. And therefore, this testing protocol is being revised. Now, I'm told that we have with us Sherin. Sherin, no testing apparently is required for COVID-19 recovered individuals at the time of hospital discharge in accordance with the discharge policy of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Can you just take us through these 6 very important points that have now been put out in the public domain on testing?
Absolutely, Rahul. Now, the ICMR in their advisory has been saying that at present, the laboratories are facing challenges to meet the expected testing targets because of the extraordinary caseload. So hence, these are the recommendations to optimize the RT-PCR testing, measure to ramp up the testing, because till now the protocol has been testing, tracking, and more testing. Hence, it is very important that there needs to be optimism or optimizing these RT-PCR tests. And hence, these 6 points have been put out by the ICMR. First and foremost is that RT-PCR test must not be repeated in any individual who has tested positive once, either by the rapid antigen test or RT-PCR test. Remember, there are in fact people who go for both rapid antigen test and then they go for RT-PCR as well, because they believe that rapid antigen test, because the results come in about 5 to 10 minutes, probably it's not right. But ICMR is saying that the
results let's not give the interpretation. Let's just go straight with the points. Sherin, no testing is required for COVID-19 recovered individuals at the time of hospital discharge in accordance with the discharge policy of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Number 3, the need for RT-PCR test in healthy individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel may be completely removed to reduce the load on laboratories. So this is a major announcement. The need for RT-PCR test in healthy individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel. So viewers, if you're going from one state to the other and you have no visible symptoms, you need not have to take the RT-PCR test. So that is very important. Sherin, what's the 4th point? Let's get to the points. 4th, 5th, 6th, come on.
Yes, no essential travel interstate, like you said, that there's no requirement for a person who, while traveling, has to go through the RT-PCR test. We have seen there has been recommendation made in every interstate travel as well, but now that is not required at all. Mobile testing laboratories need to be ramped up, is what the ICMR has been saying, because we have been seeing labs are all full-fledgedly tests are happening. They are all jam-packed, and hence now there needs to be there needs to ramp up the mobile testing facility as far as the RT-PCR tests are concerned, and all the individuals who are in fact asymptomatic, are undertaking essential travel, must follow COVID appropriate behavior. So these are the points that has in fact been put out by ICMR to optimize the RT-PCR testing because of the overload that is being faced by the labs across the country today.
Right, this is very, very important, viewers. Very, very important information that is coming through. Asymptomatics. Now, I just want to go straight across to Nikunj Garg for more on this. Nikunj, give us a quick perspective really on the important news points in this new revised testing protocol. I'm being told that the need for RT-PCR test in healthy individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel may be removed. Now, how do we know what are asymptomatics and what are symptomatics, and how are we in a position to make this obvious assessment of ourselves? Now, what we might perceive to be asymptomatic may actually be a symptom of COVID. So this could lead to a lot of confusion. Let's try to get hold of Nikunj. Nikunj, can you elaborate on this? Where is this particular testing protocol? Why has it been, number one, revised, and what is it exactly trying to do here? Because the way it has been worded, it could lead to a lot of confusion. Nikunj. Nikunj, can you hear me? Are you there with us? Are you there with us? Can you hear me? Very, very important news breaking. Are you there with us?
Yes, Rahul, I can hear you. And the fact that
Go ahead.
ICMR today, the principal nodal body of both scientific research and India is today saying that test requirements of asymptomatic individuals can be dropped by the state governments is something quite challenging at this point in time, to say the least. Because remember, it's a decision that was earlier left to the state governments, and multiple state governments in the past have allowed travel of individuals without RT-PCR tests, and some have only till very recently insisted on a valid RT-PCR test done within the last.
When the question has, when they speak of interstate travel, what does it actually mean? Does it also mean if you take a flight, or is it only road travel and rail travel that is being referred to here?
All kinds of travel. So right now, Rahul, the Punjab government has put in a requirement even of vaccination. Punjab government says that individuals wanting to travel will have to be preferably vaccinated, particularly in the age groups that Government of India had dropped all conditionalities, that is 45 and above. Similarly, multiple states across the country in the last 2 months, once all over again, though there were restrictions earlier, those restrictions were dropped, but all over again in the last month of March and April have imposed restrictions of an RT-PCR valid test of last 72 hours. Now, ICMR says and this my understanding is that because of the high test load, the ICMR is saying that people who are wanting to get their tests done only for the purposes of interstate travel must not burden the system. But this, experts will say, can lead to a lot of chaos, because which is the body that will decide or certify which individual is asymptomatic and which individual is healthy? This entire crisis of this disease is about pre-symptomatic and asymptomatic individuals. If you drop that criteria of a precautionary test, the idea that they're dropping here is of a precautionary test. But if you drop that idea, then the transmission of virus for sure, many experts will say, will receive a fillip. And at this point in time, every attempt must be made, including disapproving or disallowing the travel of people between interstate borders. Though officially that has not been said, the Ministry of Home Affairs has been insisting that that should be allowed, but unofficially that is the stance taken by multiple experts. So in such a scenario, if you are wanting to do away with the most robust barrier in terms of people who have even any kind of virus carrying load with them, then that can certainly lead to a bit of chaos.
Okay.
And my sense is that ICMR will need to do a lot more explaining. The government of India will have to do a lot more explaining on multiple points of this new protocol that they have.
Well, here is the context. Nikunj, the context is that there has been an unprecedented upsurge of COVID-19 cases and deaths is currently being witnessed across India. The overall national test positivity rate is above 20%. Testing, tracking, tracing, isolation and home-based treatment of positive patients is the key measure to curb the transmission of SARS-CoV-2, the causative agent of COVID-19. As on today, India has a total of 2,506 molecular testing laboratories, including RT-PCR, TrueNat, CBNat and other platforms. The total daily national testing capacity is close to 15 lakh tests. Considering a 3-shift operationalization of the existing laboratory network at present, the laboratories are facing challenges to meet the expected testing target due to extraordinary caseload and staff getting infected with COVID-19. In view of this situation, it is imperative to optimize the RT-PCR testing and simultaneously increase the access and availability of testing to all citizens of the country. And it is in this context, viewers, as I was telling you, systems are getting overpowered. The caseloads are just too many. There are certain recommendations. What are these recommendations? RT-PCR test must not be repeated in any individual who has tested positive once, either by RAT, which is the rapid antigen test, or RT-PCR. In other words, viewers, if you have COVID, if you've tested positive, you will undergo treatment. Once you are symptomless or asymptomatic, once you have got better, you will just continue after the mandated 15 or 20-day period. There will be no test again. So no testing is required for COVID-19 recovered individuals at the time of hospital discharge in accordance with the discharge policy of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. The need for RT-PCR test in healthy individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel may be completely removed to reduce the load on laboratories. So I want to bring in Dr. Bagai. Dr. Bagai, non-essential travel and interstate travel of symptomatic individuals should be essentially avoided to reduce the risk of infection. This is obvious. But the first three, RT-PCR tests must not be repeated in any individual who has tested positive once, either by RAT or RT-PCR. And no testing is required for COVID-19 recovered individuals at the time of hospital discharge. The need for RT-PCR tests in healthy individuals undertaking interstate domestic travel may also be waived. Now, explain these three, especially the third one. How does one know when one is recovered completely, if the viral load has come down? Is it only going to now be associated and linked to symptoms? Dr. Bagai.
Hi, good evening, Rahul. I think this is a great welcome step for the simple reason is that we are doing a lot of tests which actually ultimately may not be required. Now, the RT-PCR, we know it has its limitations with a maximum peak sensitivity of 67 going up to 83%. That means in the best of times, we can still miss 17 to 20% of cases. Now, if a person is being tested positive as asymptomatic, there is no doubt in my mind that you do not have to repeat it by just isolating for 10 days. A person may continue to shed the virus, but those are non-replicating viruses. These are not the viruses which can actually go on to give any infection. With regards to airports and the transportation, interstate transportation, there is no doubt that we do not need to do it. We are overloading the system. We go clinically. COVID-appropriate behavior is more than sufficient. It is a point to note that the virus, even if you do it on day 14 or day 17 as a repeat RT-PCR test, even if it comes positive, they are only picking up the virus, but you are not picking up the replicating virus. So it is good that we stop repeating these tests. There is far too much of burden. Let us use these tests more appropriately in the places where it is required.
Okay, now I just wanted to ask you, because these tests were very, very important, especially with those who were going across borders, because, and this is very important, Dr. Bagai, because there was a fear that you might be actually carrying the viral load and you might therefore become a spreader across states and boundaries. So doing away with that, do you think that is fraught with some implications?
I think it's a cost-benefit ratio. The test should be better utilized in places which will give us more clinical results and for therapeutic benefit rather than screening everyone. It will be an interesting study actually across the major metros of the airport to see, because all the people who've been traveling by air to and fro domestically have been asked to get an RT-PCR. We don't have the data as yet, but I will be 100% sure that the pickup rate will be very, very, very low.
But Dr. Bagai, many people will say that this is yet another attempt to tide over a shortage, and now you are making this very confusing because you don't know. You don't know. You would actually want to know for your own satisfaction if you are testing negative, if the viral load has come down before you leave a hospital. So I'm just saying, obviously there is an exigency, but is the and you need to come in here and explain to our viewers. Do you think the cure for the shortage is worse than the malaise in the first place?
Yeah, so let me put it scientifically. Every test has a limitation and fallacy. Let's just focus on RT-PCR. If you do it in the first 3 to 4 days, sometimes even 4.5 days, it can come negative, even if you're harboring the infection. Point number 2, you can get it as a positive, and you don't know when you're going to actually turn negative. Point number 3 is, you may be harboring the infection, and you can still get a test as negative on day 5 or day 7 because that's the limitation of the test. So this test is not 100% foolproof. It has its limitations. I'm a firm believer that we should be using this test. No country can keep getting people tested again and again and again. There is a limitation. We are in a vast ocean of humanity in India. How many people will you test? How many times will you check? Specifically for asymptomatic people who are just innocently picked up, you don't have to get it tested. 10 days isolation is good enough. What point I would like to add is the people who've been tested innocently but who are immunocompromised, I will request that those be tested again because it's important.
Okay, well, Dr. Bagai, thank you very much for your inputs. We will, of course, constantly update viewers, all of you, on this particular story. Get the details of the guidelines from our website as well as, of course, from our Twitter handle. We put out the tweet of the document, the new guidelines. You can access it from there. Very important public interest news. But viewers, even as we speak, and we are sticking with the issue of COVID and its response, an unseemly controversy has broken out. A very unseemly controversy has broken out over the receipt and distribution of COVID-related foreign aid shipped to India. Now remember, viewers, seeing India's plight, a large number of foreign governments had begun to ship oxygenators, oxygen cylinders, remdesivir, all sorts of other equipment, including other drugs which could help India overcome the crisis of lifelines that we are currently facing. Now, viewers, the opposition alleges that the foreign aid has been either left to rot in customs departments at airports or has not been distributed. It's being kept at some holding center, or it has been diverted to BJP-ruled states. The opposition has also demanded that the government is not being transparent and therefore it needs to put out all the audited report on how much we've received, where it has been sent, and on what date it has been sent and distributed across India, if that is indeed the case. The opposition also feels that the government is not being transparent at this moment. It is not telling you and I what the facts are about the distribution. Now, viewers, Times Now has accessed, however, sensitive details of exactly where the aid has gone and who received it. In other words, viewers, it appears that this bias charge that is being leveled by the opposition against the center for not distributing the aid or distributing it only to BJP-ruled states is not borne out by the facts. Let me very quickly run you through some of this data. Times Now's internal security editor Nikunj Garg, who covers the Ministry of Home, has pored over the data and he's accessed it that demolishes the opposition's charge of bias in the distribution of the aid or the fact that it is not being distributed in the first place. Both these charges stand demolished. Why? Because here is the graphic, viewers, it's on your screens. When we speak about oxygen concentrators, total units received is 2,625. Now, NDA ruled states, which is ruled by the BJP or its allies, 47% of all the oxygenators, the concentrators, 47% have gone to NDA ruled states, 53% have gone to opposition ruled states. So a total of 1,395 oxygen concentrators have gone to opposition ruled states. The top 5 recipients of oxygen concentrators are Delhi, UP, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab and Rajasthan. 80% of these oxygen concentrators have been sent to these top 5 states, and you can see, viewers, that at least 3 of these states are run either by the Congress or by the Aam Aadmi Party, and even in the top 5, 3 from the opposition have got it. Differing numbers because of differing populations and differing positivity rates. So that's the only differential there. Let's have a look, Nikunj, just come in on this because we also have oxygen cylinders. Total units received of oxygen cylinders, which is the next graphic on your screens, viewers, 1,571. 55% of those have gone to, of course, the states that are run by the opposition, and 45%, 704, have gone, in fact, to states that are run by the BJP. The top 5 recipients of this oxygen cylinders are Uttarakhand, Delhi, Himachal, Haryana and Odisha, viewers. So very, very important. Now, Nikunj, just coming out to you because ventilators, again, 67% to opposition ruled states, NDA only getting 33%. These are very detailed figures. In fact, 4 states have got 100% allocation of ventilators. Remdesivir also, the bias is towards opposition ruled states. 60% of Remdesivir has gone to opposition ruled states. NDA ruled states have only got 40% of it. Out of the total units received or vials received of Remdesivir, 1,27,199. The split is 60-40 in favor of opposition ruled states. Maharashtra, Karnataka, UP, Kerala, Rajasthan, the principal beneficiaries, 56% allocation. So then why is the opposition making these noises and suggesting that the government is being, A, very lax in distributing this material, and number 2, even the little it is distributing, it is only giving to BJP ruled states? What is this? Why is this being spread?
Well, Rahul, usually I'm a bit skeptical of the government's claims. My job has taught me over the years to remain so. But in this case, it's an extremely sorry state of affairs of the irresponsible charges coming from the opposition benches. So much so that today, they are trying to make us a laughing stock in the world capitals. In the Washington, D.C., questions are being raised. Now, that is why I have gotten to collate all of this data. This data is completely transparent. Even the source of the aid is mentioned in this data. Any of our viewers is welcome to review it. Which country, which organization has provided what is mentioned in this. There is a complete detail to the last resource that has come in as to who has received it on what date. Now, the fact remains that to me, only 2 concentrations seems to have been applied. One is population to case ratio and one is high caseload states. In some cases, it has certainly happened that heavy equipment like oxygen plants or ventilators have gone to places which have the Air Force stations or the bases which are bringing in where the aid is actually landing, they are the first recipients. And maybe states that are far away like Uttarakhand or Himachal Pradesh have not received as many numbers in ratio of their population, but certainly they have received in ratio of their caseloads. Aid has gone to as far away places as Manipur, Mizoram, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand. Mizoram certainly is not ruled by BJP. Manipur, you can still say that it is a BJP-ruled state, but it has been uniformly distributed. Even in the constituency of Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, Congress's interim president, a large tranche of not only the medical equipment and usables like PPE kits, like gowns, like goggles have gone, but ventilators, BiPAP machines, oxygen plants have all gone. Now, the problem here is that nobody goes through the fine detail. Now, I have been seeing some journalistic copies, unfortunately, which claim that the government's laxity has caused 1 week's delay. Now, by all accounts, the first tranche of aid has started to flow into this country on 25th of April. And the data that is available to us is of 2nd of May. Now, the entire lapse of time is close to 7 or 8 days. How can then government delay it by 1 week is beyond my comprehension. So quite clearly, not enough research has been done. Opposition has been quick to make charges, and it has unfortunately brought bad name to us as Indians in the Western capitals, which should have been completely avoided. And that is why I say anybody can review this data and then form the opinion apropos what the government has done.
Okay, stay on with me. I just want to open this up. Waris Pathan, national spokesperson of the AIMIM, is also here with us. His boss, Asaduddin Owaisi, said this morning, said many countries sending aid, it is meant for all, not for PMO alone. Why don't we know how much material has come and gone where? Waris Bhai, do you think this is a responsible statement to be making that it is only meant for the PMO? You put the accusation even before getting the data. And the message that is going on to foreign capitals is that India is not serious.
Well, Rahul,
and that we don't actually need to send all this aid anymore. Don't you think it's unfortunate, sir?
Yeah,
look at the facts.
Yes. First and foremost, Rahul, let me tell you, the central government has totally failed in ensuring the safety and security of the people of the country. The foreign
Sir,
aid...
आप इस पे जवाब दीजिए. आप इस पे जवाब दीजिए.
The foreign
आप मुझे ये बताइए, why are you running down your own country?
But why
when you don't know the facts, you're making accusations.
No, I don't need a certificate. I am a proud Indian and I love my country. But the thing is, the government has totally failed to secure the safety of people of this country. The foreign aid was received in our country on the 25th of April.
I am asking you to respond on the question I'm asking you. Why are you spreading fake news? Why is your boss saying many countries sending aid? It is meant for all, not for PMO alone. On what basis is he making this accusation? Has he seen the figures? Has he bothered to check the data?
Rahul, let me tell you.
1 minute. Mr. No. 1 second. Please. Waris Pathan bhai, मेरी बात सुनिएगा, please. Times now has been constantly asking tough questions of the government. So much so that even on counting day, Times now kept the focus on the bigger story, asking the right and the probing questions. But that doesn't mean that when someone spreads fakery, when someone alludes to fudgery, when someone suggests there's a scam, we are going to look the other way. I mean, look at what the Congress has said, viewers. Lakhs of patients are gasping for oxygen. NDA is sitting on foreign aid for 7 days. Now, Nikunj has shown us the data. Nikunj has told us that this is actually a fake news.
Rahul,
आप बताइए, sir.
The nation receives foreign aid, oxygen concentrators, ventilators, medicines are received. It takes 7 days to notify SOP for distribution of those material. And in those 7 days, how many people now lost their life due to oxygen? Even Batra hospital incident took place during that period.
Factually wrong again. Factually wrong again. Let me bring in Nikunj Garg. I don't want to steal your thunder, Nikunj. You've broken a very big story. It has exposed the fakery and the narrative that is being spread, the false narrative. Please come in and correct the situation on record here.
Rahul, I am again repeating, from where is this 1 week period coming into play? There is on the record statement, there is empirical evidence. There is evidence of the material being flown in. First tranche arrived on 25th of April. And from there on, within 1 week, which is till 2nd of May, the entire data is available to us as to where has it gone. Have people forgotten the difficulty of supplying critical medical equipment, sensitive medical equipment, which cannot be loaded into train wagons and sent to places like Mizoram or Manipur or Uttarakhand, which are far away, distant places? It has to be safely transported for it to not get damaged. And this entire lie of being, I'm sorry to say, but this standard operating procedure, I mean, about what are you talking standard operating procedures? If we are lifting medical oxygen from Singapore, Dubai, for which visuals are available, I have not created those visuals. Those countries cannot lie. They are respectable members of the International Committee of Nations. Then where is the question of SOP not being in place? If you are lifting medical oxygen, the same will apply to the medical oxygen cylinders that are coming into the country from any third country resource. I mean, this is a completely fake narrative. And please show me any aid supplies that have come in before 25th of April so that you can apply the 1 week period. Till 2nd May, the data is available. There are
Sanjay Jha, the Congress party says India has received aid from 40 countries over the past 1 week. People have a right to know where the relief material is going. Center is busy with media management and headline management. People are dying due to shortage of oxygen and essential drugs. Lakhs of patients are gasping for oxygen. NDA is sitting on foreign aid for 7 days. Isn't this fake? Isn't this totally
Rahul,
fake after what we have exposed?
Rahul, I've just read a couple of newspaper reports that talked about a lot of the usual, Indian bureaucratic cholesterol at play. Somebody saying Ministry of Home Affairs will take a call, Ministry of Transport will do this, Ministry of Health will do this, Ministry of External Affairs will do this. I think the reason why there is
Sanjay Jha, why are you going by? No, 1 second. Should the Congress party be reading news reports from its own sponsored mouthpieces and quoting sponsored articles to make a charge of this serious nature, to suggest that the government is misappropriating foreign aid, is undermining international protocol and the basic tenets of democracy? We just had an episode a few days ago where the Congress turned an appeal from a staffer in the New Zealand High Commission made through unofficial channels into a massive incident. So much so, an embarrassed Prime Minister of New Zealand had to come out and actually correct the narrative. I mean, has it come to this? Your leader, Rahul Gandhi, says a few months ago that we should not have a lockdown. We should actually be testing. Within 7 months, he changes his mind, and today he jumps up and says, no, we should have a lockdown. What is going wrong with the Congress party?
Rahul, I just
Isn't this today a time to stand with all Indians and overcome a crisis, or do you want to create fear and spread it and read all sorts of bunkum reports in all sorts of Congress-sponsored or, I don't know, opposition-sponsored journals? I don't know what you're quoting, who you're quoting, and what basis on which you are making these. And if the Congress is doing that, then that's irresponsible. This is hard data. It's on your screens. You can come out and verify it. You can challenge it, but it's hard data.
Yeah,
Sanjay Jha.
Let me answer you in brief. I wish we had a Congress-sponsored media, honestly. That would have been a luxury the party would have done well with. But, on a serious
there is
note,
enough. Don't worry, there is enough. Should I start naming it? Should I start naming it? There is enough. There are even Congress-sponsored trolls. There is a whole industry, some would say. One second, sir. Rahul Shiv Shankar is not making this allegation. I am not making this allegation. The National Herald is there. It's Congress-sponsored media. Am I wrong?
All right, fair enough.
And National Herald journalists carry frivolous fake articles about our employees writing to Times, asking it to ask tough questions. That is happening. National Herald journalists putting out fake news against Times Now. What is that? No, so please, 1 minute. Sanjay Jha, let's not go down this route. Let's go down this route, because you will not have a leg to stand on this. I know you've written a book in which you've talked about the media, etc., but let's not go down this route. This is not acceptable.
The
Not
Supreme
acceptable.
Court of India,
Not
the
acceptable,
Delhi
sir.
High
Not
Court-
acceptable. There are enough
1 minute.
opposition parties who put the screws on you. They try to intimidate you so that you don't do news reporting, you don't cover their states with diligence. All they want is to push, blackmail the media into only exposing one particular party.
Okay, Rahul,
Today
let
we
me
have
ask
had a
the
case
question.
where the leader of a political party called the Trinamool Congress has come out and said that Times Now in its prime time is not focusing on COVID. Well, let it be noted that till 8:30, half an hour of this show, prime time show, helmed by the editor-in-chief of the channel, we started with the testing protocols first, and now we are calling out what is a palpable fake news narrative that is being run in international capitals to defame the country on COVID.
Okay,
You
Rahul, let
asked
me
the
answer
government tough questions on their testing protocols, and now we are looking at a issue which is bringing us a lot of unwarranted criticism in foreign capitals by sponsored media. Viewers, this is absolutely not acceptable. We are all Indians. We are proud of being Indians. We will handle this particular crisis. And if Indians here think that today is a day when they can play politics on this dreadful scourge, then they are not being in any way helpful. They are becoming a part of the problem. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Let me bring in Mr. Bhatia. Let me bring in Shadad Poonawalla. Mr. Bhatia,
but
let
1
me
minute,
ask you
1
this
minute,
question
Rahul,
straight
you
off the
did not
bat.
allow
The
me to
Congress
ask
accuses you.
Make a simple point. The
Okay.
Supreme
Yes, sir.
Court
Please
and
go
the
ahead.
Delhi High
Go ahead,
Court
Mr. Jha. Make a
have
simple point.
intervened on oxygen supply. And therefore, I think the opposition has a right to ask a question that you cannot even afford a single day's delay.
You can
Now,
ask where
use
is the
against
oxygen
which
supply,
one
but you
doesn't
cannot
not
make and listen. Questions can be asked.
There are people
Listen,
dying
sir,
in hospitals.
even the High
You know
Court
what
today
happened in
said
Karnataka?
that
You know
you
what's
have to
happened
tomorrow
in
go to the Supreme Court. Sir, please listen to me. You
Can
are
I
within
come
the
in,
rights,
Rahul?
like the media, to ask the questions. But if you, without facts, supply the answers, and those answers are not tallying with the data, then you also have a responsibility, just like the media, sir.
Yeah, but Rahul, does
Don't you-
India have the
Can I come
luxury
in
of
now,
keeping
Rahul?
items like oxygen supply, oxygen canisters
Anyhow, let
for
me bring
even
in-
one day? I would
Fair
like
enough,
the
sir.
government
Fair
today
enough.
to work
Oxygen
in a crisis
concentrators have come in.
mode.
You're talking
If
now again.
something
You are
comes
shifting the
6 hours away,
goalposts, Mr.
distribute
Sanjay
it.
Jha.
Find
You
the
know
medium,
better than I.
find the
You have been
transport,
on these
find the
shows where
bureaucracy,
we have
find
asked
the
the same
armed
question
forces,
that
do
you
it.
are asking. But tonight I am asking a slightly different question. A slightly different question, sir. Let us not today blur the lines between fact and fiction. You are asking a generic question about oxygen shortage. Of course there is an oxygen shortage. You don't need the BJP spokesperson to tell you that. We know. We're suffering it. But that is not the question that the Congress is asking. The Congress is
come in?
assuming, on the basis of I don't know what facts, that the government has squatted
Rahul, the
on
fundamental
foreign aid that
question
is
is
coming.
that
That's
there
a
should be
very
no
strong
loss of
charge.
life in any
Mr. Bhatia
hospital.
wants to respond. Let Mr.
There should
Bhatia
be
come
no
in,
loss
sir.
of life in
Let
any
Mr.
hospital.
Bhatia come in.
Never.
I
Never.
hope
Let
I'll get some time.
Mr. Bhatia
Because
come
we
in.
should
Let him
debate
respond.
this serious issue
You
in
ask
the right
question, let him come in.
perspective.
Sure.
What is the topic of the debate today? The topic of the debate is about foreign aid, and that it is not being equitably distributed by the center, and they're discriminating on the basis of the government which is in place. If it is the BJP government, it is getting it. If it is a Congress government or an opposition party government, they're not. Let me start with some numbers. This is very important. And as an example, I'm giving you two states, Maharashtra, Maha Vasuli Aghadi government, and UP, BJP government. Maharashtra has a population of 11 crores, UP has a population of 23 crores. What has the center done to these two states? When it comes to oxygen, the allocation to Maharashtra with 11 crore population is 1784 metric ton, because they have more number of positive cases. UP has 857 metric ton. Nobody is complaining in UP, because you all understand every state needs to be catered to. Ventilators under the PM Care Fund. Maharashtra got 4,600. Please pay attention. 4,600 ventilators. UP got 4,016. Less than Maharashtra. The population is double. Vaccines provided to Maharashtra 1.7 crore. highest in the country, with half the population of UP. How much has UP got? 1.5 crores. N95 masks. Maharashtra has got 32 lakhs from the center. UP got 24 lakhs. PPE kits, 15 lakhs to Maharashtra. UP got 14.7 lakhs. Why do I give these numbers? Sometimes we have to rise above petty politics. These numbers will show. Center will go all out to protect the life of every citizen. We will not discriminate on the basis of the government that is in place. My second point is, why are we getting this foreign aid? Rahul, don't forget, when India was helping other countries across the globe, Rahul Gandhi, other opposition party leaders came out. They said, ये मैत्री क्या है? क्यों दे रहे हो उनको vaccine? Not even understanding that there were commercial agreements, there were also compliances to be made under the guidelines of the UNICEF. Now what has happened? These countries are also now reciprocating in equal measure. So all these people who are now saying you are squatting over the foreign aid first should introspect. If we had followed the paths that they were showing, none of this foreign aid would have come to our country. And my third point, which is most important, I'll quickly make it in 20 seconds. The politics of deceit and propaganda. Just see Rahul Gandhi's tweet. He said, on the basis of a news report, the reports that you were talking about, yellow journalism, that no vaccine has been ordered after March 2021. Whereas in April, both Covishield as well as Bharat Biotech have been given advanced payments to the tune of almost 2,200 crores so that they can supply vaccines to every state and to the center. This is the commitment of the Modi government.
Okay.
Now, should we not ask questions to people who are spreading falsehood?
Well, let me bring in Shehzad Poonawalla at this point. Shehzad Poonawalla, look, this is a very tricky affair. This is a very big story. You know why? Because foreign governments work on trust, faith, and there is obviously a certain reciprocity that takes place in diplomatic channels. Foreign governments, just like Mr. Modi had to justify why he sent vaccines out, will have to be justifying to its own population why it's sending oxygenators to India. It's obvious, isn't it? And if you're going to imply some sort of scam, you are creating massive fissures in India's relationship with the world.
Rahul, let me congratulate Nikunj because in one go he has administered a double jab of a fact-check vaccine that has not only fact-checked the lies that were being spread, but also another malaise that is more deeper and more poisonous than perhaps even COVID, the attempt to do Desh Virod in their attempt to do Modi Virod. And this is nothing new. This is for the umpteenth time. Every time they want to oppose Modi, they go to the extent of opposing the nation itself. You remember during the CA protest, they wanted protests to happen at the Indian embassies. You remember that in the case of Modi Virod, they've also gone and done Sena Virod and stood with Pakistan and China on issues like 370 and Galwan. So this has become a deep malaise that they are suffering from. And today's expose or today's factual reports that have been put out, actually it serves the Indian cause in such a way. Imagine, Rahul, the situation that would have occurred if these foreign countries which are giving us aid at this point decide that, oh my God, there is corruption, there is a scam, let us stop sending. People who need help the most would be deprived of it. And look at the hypocrisy of the likes of Sanjay Jha, Tehseen Poonawalla and the Congress party. On the one hand, Manish Tiwari and his ilk say that, Arey, aap to Atmanirbhar the. See, in tsunami, we never took foreign aid. Why are you taking foreign aid? You become Sabpar Nirbhar. And today they are asking Hisab Kitab and Hissa. They are asking for a Hissa, ke hamara Hissa kya hai? This is the mindset. They don't want to fight COVID. They want to fight Modi. And therefore, they want to fight the country.
Well, this is a compromise with India's international image, and that is unacceptable to any Indian viewers. I want to quickly bring in Tehseen Poonawalla. Mr. Poonawalla, I know we invited you for another debate, which we shall just go to, but very quickly I want to ask you this. Your party comes out and says that NDA is sitting on foreign aid for 7 days. Lakhs of patients are gasping for oxygen. Nikunj Garg has shown you that the oxygenators, the oxygen cylinders have reached in greater proportions to opposition ruled states than even BJP ruled states. Do you think it's responsible to be making comments such as this, which are palpably not borne out by data?
I have a lot of respect for Nikunj Garg. He's one of the best journalists in this country, and for you, Rahul Shivshankar. I'm going to be very brief. Your data shows, for example, 810 oxygen concentrators that have been distributed to Delhi. I dare you, and I'll come back tomorrow to show who's got these 810, because this is data put out by Narendra Modi's government, which basically spreads lies. Now, let me just finish. Let's take your reporter tomorrow. Let's take Nikunj, you and me tomorrow on the ground. And oxygen concentrators are being sold in the black under the nose of Mr. Amit Shah and his Delhi police. There is no oxygen concentrator.
Come on, Rahul, we are not here.
There is no effort. Please, I don't interrupt. Please, and
substantiate the charge.
You've got to give me a chance. The BJP is
Shahji's
copying my voice.
I urge him to substantiate.
Mr. Poonawala, one second. Tehseen Poonawala, 1 minute. Gentlemen, let's not get into this. Let me come in. I don't also have the time for this. Changing of goalposts artfully. Sanjay Jha tried to do it. Varis Pathan tried to do it, and now Tehseen is doing it. Now, what is the issue? Viewers, the patient wants a jab for... One second. Please, let's not shout over each other. Please, Tehseen, please don't shout over me. I can't do it. Please. Lower everyone's faders. Viewers, I need to come in here. This is very, very important. Lower everyone's faders. They're not allowing me to speak. I'm the moderator of this discussion. Now, viewers, very, very clear. The patient wants a vaccine for COVID, but the Congress party is giving them a vaccine for rabies. That is the analogy. The question is being asked about why fake news is being spread about distribution. The answer is about black marketeering, profiteering by all sorts of loathsome elements. Of course, it's happening in every state, don't you think? It's happening as far afield from Delhi as it is happening in Delhi. Who are we trying to fool? Stop changing the goalposts. Stop this shoot and scoot politics. It is undermining the fight. It is creating suspicion. Do you want a civil war? Is that what you're angling for? It's not acceptable, viewers. We will not be stopped from calling out the narrative on either side. We are committing ourselves to the truth and to exposing the truth. Viewers, I need to move on because we are on the subject of reality, truth.